The New York Jets have interest in Washington Commanders quarterback Sam Howell, but the players want the other Washington quarterback. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today I want to talk about the story that came out yesterday and some of the reactions from some players that came out from the story. So a story came out yesterday that the New York Jets are interested in quarterback Sam Howell of the Washington Commanders and interested in bringing him in to back up Aaron Rodgers. And I think that makes a ton of sense for a lot of reasons. One, I actually am a big fan of Sam Howell and his ability and his skill set. When we look at his season last year, behind what was one of the worst offensive lines in football, and in my opinion, one of the worst ran offenses in all of football last year, he was able to go out and put up some really impressive stats in a couple of games. You know, throwing for almost 400 yards against Chicago, almost 400 yards against Philly, multiple games over 300 yards, throwing for 21 touchdowns, and having a completion percentage of 63.5%. while almost throwing for 4,000 yards. Now, there are some detractors there, the 21 interceptions thrown, the 4 fumbles, and all of that. But when you look at Sam Howell as the overall player, he's got a ton of arm talent and the ability to sling it and throw it all over the field. And he's not a chump with his legs. He provided 250 rushing yards last year and 5 rushing touchdowns as well. So going for a guy like Sam Howell, who is only going to be 23 at the beginning of the season, has 2 years of experience under his belt, 1 year as a starter, answers and addresses 2 things for the New York Jets. One, you get a relatively high-level backup who's on a really cost-controlled deal. But 2, you can also maybe start looking at the heir apparent for Aaron Rodgers for after he leaves in 2 years. And that is something that really does interest me. Now, when this tweet came out, a couple of players, and most importantly, DJ Reed, went out and sent a tweet, cough, cough, Jacoby Brissett, showing and saying, you know what, I'd be more interested in the other quarterback in Washington. And let's be honest, I think everybody is. And I don't just mean like the Jets. I mean, everybody in the NFL should be interested in Jacoby Brissett coming to their franchise. When I did my calculations, I counted 8 teams that 100% need a quarterback and 3 teams that might be in the market for a quarterback depending on how situations go in-house. And so, like, with all of that being said, there are 11 opportunities where Jacoby Brissett can go where he's going to be a starter, where he's going to get the opportunity to start. Now, let's go over those teams in draft order. Chicago, Washington, New England, Atlanta, Minnesota, Denver, Vegas, and Tampa all 100% need a quarterback. But there are rumblings from New Orleans and Pittsburgh that they might be interested in a new quarterback. Miami technically needs to figure out what they're going to do with Tua Tagovailoa, and are they really going to pay him the $50 million a year? So there might be something going on there. Probably not. And San Francisco just lost because the inadequacies of the quarterback, Brock Purdy. And I'm not saying that they're going to be interested in a quarterback, but just maybe. So if we eliminate Miami and San Francisco from that list, there are still 9 teams with a really high plausibility or likelihood that they're going to get a quarterback. And not all 9 teams are within striking distance of getting one in the draft. Chicago and Washington, for sure, probably going to be getting one in the draft. New England, Atlanta, Minnesota, Denver, Vegas, and Tampa are all different stories. New England might not like the quarterbacks that are available at that spot, or more importantly, might be in love with Marvin Harrison Jr. And if you're telling me that you can get Jacoby Brissett and Marvin Harrison Jr. on a team together and then punt getting a quarterback later on or down the road, like, that's not that bad of an option. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational type prospect in the wide receiver room. He's just that good. Atlanta wants a quarterback desperately, and if you're Jacoby Brissett and you're Jacoby Brissett's agent, I think you do everything in your power to end up in Atlanta and try to get them to take a weapon or something, address the defense instead of taking a quarterback, because that is, in my opinion, the best landing spot for an offseason quarterback. Minnesota is a really interesting landing spot, even though I believe that they're going to probably get Kirk Cousins back to play with JJ and Addison and all of those guys. Denver needs a new quarterback. Vegas needs a new quarterback. New Orleans might want to punt on the Derek Carr situation only after a year. Pittsburgh seems to be interested in a new quarterback. Tampa hasn't and won't give the franchise tag to Baker Mayfield, which means he's going to be a free agent. And if you're Baker, do you not want to go and end up in Atlanta? Like, again, there are a ton of options that are out there, and the New York Jets just aren't a landing spot for these high-level quarterbacks who are in that tier of bridge starter, high-level backup, because they're going to want to start somewhere, and they're going to get more money going somewhere else. A team like Atlanta would be more than happy and willing to give Jacoby Brissett $15 million to come and play for a year, where the New York Jets can really max out at about $5 million. And you're going to be the backup, like, without a shadow of a doubt. So again, of course we should want Jacoby Brissett. Everybody should want Jacoby Brissett. He is the pinnacle of the best backup quarterback in the NFL because he could legitimately start on a ton of teams. That being said, he knows that he can start on a ton of teams, and he's not going to take the job here in New York. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comment section below. Are you interested in Jacoby Brissett or Sam Howell? And if not, who should the New York Jets bring in as their backup? We'll make a video about that later in the process. Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.